first type of biasing circuit is fixed bias circuit. Fixed bias circuit is the simplest DC bias configuration. Fixed bias configuration is also known as base bias configuration. It is also known as base bias configuration, in which VCC is the biasing potential, and here VCC is not represented as potential difference, but it is represented as potential at point. Potential at point. RB is the resistance connected in series with the base, and RC is the resistance connected in series with the collector. Potential at this point is equal to plus VCC. Potential at this point is equal to plus VCC, and potential at this point is also equal to plus VCC. So we can redraw this circuit. We can redraw this circuit in which potential at this point is equal to plus VCC, and potential at this point is also equal to plus VCC. So I will remove this portion of this circuit, and we have plus VCC as the potential here and plus VCC as the potential at this point. Now we can easily analyze this circuit, and we will try to obtain the output current IC. We have to obtain the output current IC and the output voltage VCE. The output voltage VCE. Before starting the calculation, I will represent the biasing potential VCC as potential difference. VCC is positive. VCC is positive. So I will connect the positive plate here. This is ground, and ground is having zero potential. So ground will act as the negative terminal. I will complete the input circuit first. I will complete the input circuit first. Ground is the negative terminal, and now VCC is represented as the potential difference. In the same way, I will complete the output circuit. VCC is positive, so I will connect the positive plate here, and the negative plate is connected to the ground because ground is at the lower potential. So this is how the output circuit will look, and now we can easily obtain the output current IC and the output voltage VCE. I will apply KVL in the input loop, and we have plus VCC minus IBRB minus IBRB minus VBE equal to 0. From this equation we can easily calculate the base current. Base current is the input current. So IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB. This is the value of base current, and we already know the collector current. The collector current IC is equal to beta times IB. So the collector current is simply equal to beta times VCC minus VBE divided by RB. So this is the value of output current IC. VBE is simply equal to 0.7 volts for silicon, and it is equal to 0.3 volts for germanium, because VBE is the voltage across the forward bias diode, and when we replace the diode with its equivalent model and we are considering the constant voltage drop model, then VBE is simply equal to 0.7 volts for silicon and 0.3 volts for germanium. So if we know the beta value, the biasing potential, and the resistance RB, we can easily calculate the output current IC. Now we will calculate the output voltage VCE, and for this purpose I will again use the Kirchhoff's voltage law. In the output loop we have plus VCC. You can see we have plus VCC minus ICRC minus ICRC minus VCE equal to 0, and from this equation VCE, the output voltage, is simply equal to VCC minus ICRC. So we have the output voltage. We have already calculated the output current IC, and we can put this value here. VCC is already known to us, RC is already given to us, and by using these values we can easily calculate the output voltage VCE. I hope this configuration is clear to you. Now we will solve one example. In this example, we need to calculate the output current IC, resistance RC, resistance RB, and the output voltage VCE for the fixed bias configuration. In this circuit, you can see VCC is equal to 14 volts. VCC, the biasing potential, is equal to 14 volts. IB, the base current, is equal to 40 microamps. The base current is equal to 40 microamps. Beta is equal to 80. The amplification factor is equal to 80, and potential at this point VC is equal to 6 volts. VC is equal to 6 volts. Now I will solve the A part. I will calculate the output current IC. Solution of the A part. We already know IC is equal to beta times IB. Beta is equal to 80 and IB is equal to 40 microamps. So 80 multiplied by 40 microamps will give us the value of collector current. And when you solve collector current, and when you solve this, you will have 3.2 milliamps as the value of output current IC. Now I will find out resistance RC, B part of the problem. I will use Kirchhoff's voltage law in the outer loop to obtain the value of resistance RC. I will start from 14 volts and end at 6 volts. We have 14 volts minus ICRC equal to 6 volts. And if you don't know how to deal with potential at points, you may watch the series diode configuration lecture. In that lecture, I have explained how to deal with point potentials. Now we will calculate RC. RC is equal to 14 volts minus 6 volts divided by IC. 14 minus 6 is equal to 8 volts. IC is equal to 3.2 milliamps. 3.2 milliamps. When you solve this, you will have 2.5 kilo ohms as the value of resistance RC. In the C part of the problem, we have to calculate resistance RB. In the C part, we need to calculate the resistance RB, and this time also I will use KVL, but in the input loop. I will start from 14 volts. So we have 14 volts minus IBRB, drop across resistance RB, minus VBE, and it is equal to 0. I can easily find out RB. It is equal to 14 volts minus VBE divided by the base current IB. VBE is equal to 0.7 volts. So we have 13.3 volts divided by 40 microamps. When you solve this, you will have value of RB equal to 32.5 kilo ohms. The next thing is the output voltage VCE. VCE is equal to VC minus VE. VC is the potential at point C and VE is the potential at point E. Potential at point C is equal to 6 volts. So we have 6 volts minus potential at point E is equal to 0 volts because it is connected to the ground. So we have 0 volts. When you solve this, you will have 6 volts as the value of output voltage VCE. So this is all for this numerical problem. And in case of fixed bias configuration, the emitter base junction is forward biased by VCC and the collector base junction is reverse biased by VCC. From the next lecture onwards, we will not draw this form of the circuit. We will perform all the analysis using this form of the circuit, in which VCC is represented as potential at point. the two coupling capacitors are also there in this circuit. The first coupling capacitor is connected like this. Let's say this capacitor is C1 and we apply the input AC signal at this terminal, and the second coupling capacitor is connected like this. Let's say this capacitor is C2 and we obtain the output AC signal at this terminal, but we ignore capacitor C1 and capacitor C2 in DC analysis because reactance offered by the capacitor is equal to 1 by 2 pi fc, where f is the frequency, c is the capacitance, and we already know frequency is equal to 0 in case of DC. So reactance is equal to 1 divided by 0, which is equal to infinity. And because of this, capacitor C1 and capacitor C2 will be replaced by open circuit, because infinity resistance is offered by open circuit. So this is all for this lecture. If you have any doubt, you may ask in the comment section. I will end this lecture here. See you in the next one. In the previous presentation, I explained fixed bias configuration of a transistor. In this lecture, I will solve one numerical problem based on fixed bias configuration. Let's read the problem. For the fixed bias configuration, determine IC. IC is the collector current, VCC the biasing potential, beta the amplification factor, and RB the resistance connected in series with the base. This is the circuit given to us, in which RC the resistance connected in series with the collector is equal to 2.7 kilo ohms. I will write this down. RC is equal to 2.7 kilo ohms. IB the base current is equal to 20 microamps. This is given in the problem. The base current IB is equal to 20 microamps. The ammeter current IE is equal to 4 milliamps. The ammeter current IE is equal to 4 milliamps. VCE the output voltage, which is also the output current of this circuit. So I will start with the A part. I will first calculate the collector current IC. We already know the ammeter current IE is equal to sum of collector current and the base current. We know the value of ammeter current and the base current, so we can easily calculate the collector current. It is equal to IE minus IB. IE is equal to 4 milliamps. IB is equal to 20 microamps minus 20 microamps. We can also write 20 microamps as 0.02 milliamps. So we have 4 milliamps minus 0.02 milliamps. When you solve this, you will have 3.98 milliamps. This is the value of collector current and the answer of the A part. And you can see collector current is nearly equal to the ammeter current. Collector current is 3.98 milliamps and the ammeter current is 4 milliamps. So we can say that the collector current is nearly equal to the ammeter current. Now I will solve the B part. In the B part, we need to calculate VCC, the biasing potential. I will use KVL and I will apply the KVL in the output loop. So we have VCC minus IC. Inside the bracket we have 2.7 kilo ohms minus 7.2 volts equal to 0. You can see in this circuit we have VCC, then we have minus of 2.7 kilo ohms multiplied by the current, that is IC, and then we have minus of VCE equal to 0. Potential of ground is equal to 0 volts, and from this equation we can easily calculate the value of VCC, because we know IC, it is equal to 3.9 milliamps. So VCC is equal to 3.98 milliamps multiplied with 2.7 kilo ohms plus 7.2 volts. When you solve this, you will have 10.746 volts plus 7.2 volts, and finally we have 17.946 volts as the value of biasing potential VCC. So this is the answer of the B part. Now we will solve the C part, in which we have to calculate the value of beta. Beta is equal to IC, the output current, divided by IB, the input current. IC is equal to 3.98 milliamps, and IB, the base current, is equal to 20 microamps. So beta is equal to 199. This is the answer of the C part. In the D part, we need to calculate the value of resistance RB, and for this we have to apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law in the input loop, and we have VCC minus IBRB minus IBRB minus, we have minus of VBE minus VBE equal to 0. And by using this equation, we can easily calculate resistance RB. VBE is equal to 0.7 volts. So we have 17.946 volts value of VCC minus 20 microamps value of base resistance multiplied with resistance RB minus 0.7 volts equal to 0. From here we have RB equal to 17.946 volts minus 0.7 volts divided by 20 microamps. So the base resistance is equal to 862.3 kilo ohms. When you solve this, you will have this value as the value of resistance RB. So this is the answer of the D part, and this is how you have to solve the fixed bias configuration of a transistor. This is all for this lecture. See you in the next one. Last two lectures we completed fixed bias configuration. The next type of configuration is ammeter bias configuration. The only difference between ammeter bias configuration and the fixed bias configuration is resistance RE. We introduce ammeter resistance to improve the stability of the operating point. We improve the stability of the operating point by introducing the ammeter resistance RE. I will explain how stability is improved in this configuration as compared to the fixed bias configuration, but first we will find out coordinates of the operating point ICQ and VCEQ. The Q stands for the quiescent point or the operating point. To calculate ICQ or IC, the collector current, we have to apply KVL in the input loop. So we have VCC minus drop across resistance RB, which is equal to IBRB minus VBE minus drop across resistance RE, which is equal to IERE equal to 0 volts, because potential of ground is equal to 0 volts. I will use this equation to calculate the base current IB, and once we have IB, we can easily calculate the collector current IC. We already know the ammeter current IE is equal to IC plus IB, and IC is equal to beta times IB. So the ammeter current is simply equal to beta plus 1 times the base current. This is what we have. We can replace IE by beta plus 1 IB so that we can calculate the base current IB. So from this equation we have VCC minus IBRB minus VBE minus beta plus 1 times IBRE equal to 0, and from these two terms I will take IB common. So we have VCC minus IB inside the bracket we have RB plus beta plus 1 times RE minus VBE equal to 0. So IB is simply equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus inside the bracket beta plus 1 RE. So this is the expression of base current, and collector current IC is equal to beta times the base current. We have base current, and if we multiply this by beta, we have the collector current IC. The next thing is the calculation of voltage VCE, and for this I will use KVL in the output loop. So let's see what we have. After using the KVL in the output loop, we have VCC minus drop across this resistance is equal to ICRC minus VCE minus drop across the ammeter resistance is equal to IE equal to 0. And by using this equation we can easily calculate voltage VCE. IE is nearly equal to the collector current. The ammeter current is nearly equal to the collector current, so we can replace ammeter current by the collector current. So we have ICRC, or I can take collector current common from these two terms. So inside the bracket we have RC plus RE minus VCE equal to 0, and finally we have VCE equal to VCC minus inside the bracket RC plus RE multiplied with the collector current IC. So this is the expression of the voltage VCE. We have already derived the expression of IC, and by using that expression we can calculate IC. Once we have IC, we will put it here to calculate the value of VCE. The next thing is the advantage of using ammeter resistance. The next thing is the advantage of using ammeter resistance RE. We don't want the operating point to change. Once operating point is fixed, we don't want it to change, and if collector current IC changes, this implies the operating point, the Q point, will also change, because collector current is one of the coordinates of the operating point. The collector current will change because of two things. The first thing is the temperature. If temperature increases, this implies the collector current will also increase, because the collector current IC is equal to beta times IB plus beta plus 1 times ICBO. ICBO is the leakage current or the reverse saturation current, and it only depends on the minority charge carriers. When temperature increases, number of minority charge carriers will increase, and also ICBO. And when ICBO increases, from this equation you can see collector current also increases. Let's see how the introduction of ammeter resistance RE will save us from this situation. When collector current IC increases, this implies the drop RE will also increase, because collector current is nearly equal to the ammeter current, and because of this drop will also increase. And when this drop increases, the base current will decrease. From the first equation you can see the base current IB is equal to VCC minus VBE minus IE RE divided by resistance RB, and when this drop IE RE increases, this implies the base current decreases, and when base current decreases, this implies the collector current will also decrease because collector current is equal to beta times the base current. So the increment in the collector current because of increase in temperature is equally compensated by the decrement in the base current. So because of introduction of Re, the emitter resistance, the temperature will no longer have effect on the collector current, and the emitter resistance is playing its role in this drop. The next thing is the beta value. When beta value changes, the collector current will also change because IC is equal to beta times IB. So when beta changes, the collector current will also change. And let's see how resistance Re help us in this situation. The collector current IC is equal to beta times VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus inside the bracket beta plus 1 times Re. This is the expression of collector current, and you can see beta plus 1 is nearly equal to beta. Beta is a large value, so beta plus 1 is nearly equal to beta. So we have collector current IC equal to beta VCC minus VBE divided by RB plus beta times Re. And let's say beta times Re is much larger than the resistance Rb, so we can neglect this resistance and we only have beta times Re in the denominator, and the beta in numerator will cancel out with beta in denominator. So we have IC, the collector current, independent of beta. The collector current is independent of beta. This expression is independent of beta, so there is no effect on the collector current if you change the transistor, because the collector current is independent of the current amplification factor. The next thing is the disadvantages of this circuit. In order to have the collector current independent of beta, we must follow this condition: beta times Re must be greater than the resistance Rb, and most of the times beta is unknown to us. So to achieve this condition, we must make the resistance Re very high, or we can make the resistance Rb very low. Because of making the resistance Re very high, we have to keep the biasing potential high, and this will increase the cost and also the precautions. The next thing is regarding the low value of the resistance Rb. Because of this, the reverse bias of the collector base junction will reduce. So this is the disadvantage of this configuration. In the next lecture, we will solve one example based on emitter bias configuration. So see you in the next lecture. Previous presentation, we completed emitter bias configuration, and in this lecture we will solve one problem. Based on this problem, we need to calculate all the three resistances which are there in the emitter bias circuit. They are resistance Rb, resistance Rc, and resistance Re. The next thing is the voltage VCE. We have to calculate the output voltage VCE, and we also have to calculate the potential at point B. In this circuit, the base current is not given to us, but collector current is given. It is equal to 3 milliamps. The collector current IC is equal to 3 milliamps. Beta is equal to 80. The current amplification factor is equal to 80. We are using NPN transistor, and this terminal is the base terminal, this terminal is the collector terminal, and this terminal is the emitter terminal. Potential at the collector terminal is equal to 7.6 volts. So VC is equal to 7.6 volts, and potential at emitter terminal is equal to 2.4 volts. So VE is equal to 2.4 volts. Potential at base terminal is not given, and we have to calculate the potential at base terminal. VCC, the biasing potential, is equal to 12 volts, and I will start the solution with E part. I will first find out the potential at point B, or potential at the base terminal. We already know VBE is equal to 0.7 volts, because VBE is the forward bias diode, and we have 0.7 volts in case of silicon diode. So we can say that VB minus VE is equal to 0.7 volts. We already know value of VE, it is equal to 2.4 volts. So VB 4 volts. So VB is simply equal to 2.4 volts plus 0.7 volts. So finally VB is equal to 3.1 volts. This is the answer of the E part. Now we will solve the D part. In D part we have to calculate the output voltage VCE. We already know value of VC, it is equal to 7.6 volts, and value of VE, it is equal to 2.4 volts. So we can calculate VCE, it is equal to VC minus VE. So we have 7.6 volts minus 2.4 volts. When you solve this, you will have 5.2 volts as the value of output voltage. This is the answer of the D part. We have completed E part and D part of the problem. In the C part, we have to calculate resistance RB, the resistance in series with the base terminal, and for this we will apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in the input loop. So let's solve the C part of the problem. VCC is equal to 12 volts. So we have plus 12 volts minus IBRB equal to VB. VB is equal to 3.1 volts, and we can easily calculate the value of resistance RB, but for this we also need the current IB, and IB is equal to IC divided by beta. IC is given in the problem, it is equal to 3 milliamps divided by beta is equal to 80. When you solve this, you will have value of base current IB equal to 37.5 microamps. Now we can calculate the resistance RB. RB is equal to 12 volts minus 3.1 volts divided by 37.5 microamps. So the resistance RB is equal to 237.4 kilo ohms. This is the value of resistance RB, and this is the answer of the C part. Now we will calculate resistance RE, the ammeter resistance, and for this I will apply KVL in this loop. I will start from 2.4 volts and end to the ground. Potential of ground is equal to 0 volts. So we have 2.4 volts minus IE, the ammeter current, multiplied with RE equal to 0 volts. Now the ammeter current IE is nearly equal to the collector current, so we can replace IE with the collector current IC. So resistance RE is equal to 2.4 volts divided by 3 milliamps. So finally we have 0.8 kilo ohms as the value of resistance RE. The last part of the problem is the calculation of resistance RC, and for this we will again apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law in this loop. I will start from VCC and end at 7.6 volts. So we have 12 volts value of VCC minus collector current multiplied with resistance RC equal to 7.6 volts. So RC is equal to 12 volts minus 7.6 volts divided by 3 milliamps, and finally we have RC equal to 1.47 kilo ohms. So this is how you have to calculate all the three resistances, the output voltage and the potential at base terminal. In this problem I have used the KVL in which potential at points are involved. You can see 12 volt is not the potential difference and 7.6 volt is also not the potential difference, and in KVL, in Kirchhoff's voltage law, we only include the potential differences. But if you want to include potential at points in KVL, then start from one potential at point. Let's say this is P1, start from P1 like we have done here, and end your calculation at the last point. Let's say the last point is P2, and end your calculation at the last point. And in this way we can use point potentials in KVL, because according to KVL, the sum of voltages or potential differences in a closed loop is equal to 0. So if you want to make sum of voltages in this equation equal to 0, you have to subtract 7.6 volts on both the sides. So we have minus 7.6 volts plus 12 volts minus ICRC equal to 0. So we can say that we have now KVL in which only potential differences are involved, because 7.6 volt is the potential at point P2, this is potential at point P2, and 12 volt is the potential at point P1. So we have P1 minus P2, and P1 minus P2 is potential difference. Potential difference is nothing but the difference between potentials of 2 points. So we have P1 minus P2, which is potential difference. ICRC is already the potential difference, drop across resistance is equal to 0. So we can say that this equation is proper use of Kirchhoff's voltage law. And if you want to learn more about this topic, you may watch series diode configuration lecture. In that lecture I have explained lecture. See you in the next one.